Hello, and welcome back to the Transform Wellness Podcast. I am Dr. Bradford Perkins, and I am a longevity and metabolic medicine specialist. Today, I want to talk about back pain. So many of us suffer from back pain on a day-to-day basis, and I really want to delve into one of the main causes of that, which is a weak core. So why are we talking about back pain? If you just look at the economic cost, Americans spend at least $50 billion each year on direct medical costs related to back pain. That's doctor's visits, MRIs, x-rays, physical therapy, and medications, everything related to that. And then if you include indirect costs, such as missed days of work, reduced productivity, disability, the total annual cost is estimated to be between $100 and $200 billion a year. Low back pain is the leading cause of job-related disability and one of the top reasons for missed work. Some estimates suggest that more than 260 million workdays are lost each year in the United States due to back pain. That's roughly 2 lost days for every full-time worker. And at any given time, tens of millions of Americans report experiencing back pain. So about 1/4 to 1/3 of U.S. adults experience lower back pain in any given 3-month period of time. And up to 80% of adults experience low back pain at some point during their lifetime. There's a study in 2017 that showed for every 1 kilogram, which is 2.2 pounds, increase in total body fat mass, there was a 5% increased risk of high-intensity back pain over 3 years and 6% increased risk of high disability back pain over 3 years. So bad back pain and disability back pain. So if you're 10 kilos overweight, that's 50-60% increased risk. So one of the main causes of back pain is just having core weakness. Core are our muscles that are around our abdomen, wrapping around to our back. So when the core is weak, it leads to inadequate support for the spine. So you don't have those muscles really supporting the spine and keeping it still. So if the spine isn't stable and the core isn't stable, it puts more stress through the spine and bony structures of the spine, and just causes all this excess stress. There also is something called sarcopenia. This is age or inactivity related loss of muscle mass. So we lose muscle mass and that muscle mass is replaced by fat. So you get this fat deposition in your low back muscles, which further leads to more weakness because your body can't stabilize with fat instead of muscle being right around. And I'll show you what that is in a minute. So if you have that combination of weak core muscles and fat deposition, that just accelerates back pain and increases the risk of back pain. So what causes a weak core? Sedentary lifestyle. A lot of us spend all day sitting at a desk, 6, 8, 10 hours. We don't have to use our core. So it leads to poor posture, leads to weak core, leads to tight hip flexors because we're always in this flexed sitting position, which can just really hurt our body. So there is something called sitting is the new smoking because sitting is so bad for us if we do it for prolonged periods of time. If we're sitting for over 4 hours a day, that increases risk of a lot of metabolic issues. Other causes of weak core is just lack of regular exercise, lack of targeted training for stabilizing muscles. If we're just focusing on those 6-pack muscles and not the other stabilizers, that can lead to a weak core. If you've had previous injuries, for those who are overweight or obese, that leads to weak core and poor posture, I believe I already mentioned. And so here are your core muscles. So you have the rectus abdominis. Those are our 6-pack muscles in the front. You have the transverse abdominis and the internal and external obliques. Those are more on the side of the abdomen. You have the erector spinae and multifidus muscle, and that's in the low back. And then actually your pelvic floor muscles are included in this as well as your diaphragm. So a lot of us have some pelvic floor weakness. Very common in women, especially after childbirth. And it occurs in men. Anytime we lose a lot of weight, so if let's say you've lost 30, 40, 50 pounds using Ozempic or Zepbound, that can lead to muscle loss in weakness of the pelvic floor. And I've seen that where people lose weight and they start to have issues with incontinence or sexual dysfunction. So, core strengthening is paramount. This is very important, especially as we get older. It improves spine alignment, reduces pain, it enhances daily activity. That's like lifting, twisting, bending. It's also good for injury prevention. Something not listed here I would add in is, fall prevention or being able to catch yourself. So if you have that strength to hold yourself and not collapse as you're falling as we get older, there's another benefit of a strong core. So there's some really good exercises to help with core strengthening. And it's not just the old school sit up or crunch. You want to look at plank holds, you can do, and if you're not good at it, you start on your knees. If you set a time for 30 seconds, if you can hold for 30 seconds or a minute, that's great. If not, you can only hold 5 seconds. You do 5 seconds, put your knees down for 2 to 3 seconds. So you can kind of cycle up and build that strength up. Side planks, that's just holding yourself down. I prefer, me personally, on the elbow compared to straight arms, easier on the shoulder. But starting with your knee kind of in this tucked bent position, that also is a good way to just start to practice instead of having both feet off the floor. Bird dog, that's a great exercise to strengthen those erectus spinae muscles in the back, get those deep core stabilizers, the multifidus muscle. Bridge, that's building up your glute muscles and your hamstrings. And then dead bug, that's also working on those deep stabilizers. There is something else out there, and I think this is an amazing device. I think it's one of those devices that just blew my mind when I learned about it. It's called the Emsculpt Neo. This is a device. It's been around since about 2021 or 2022. It uses electromagnetic energy to build muscle. So it has this high intensity focused electromagnetic energy. Also uses radio frequency energy to induce muscle contractions and reduce fat. So if we're doing it over the core or the flanks there, you're not only building muscle, you're also burning the muscle that's been taking over or burning the fat that is taking over the muscle. So it's a great way, in studies, it builds muscle by 25%, can reduce fat by 30%, also can treat some of that visceral fat that pushes our belly out farther. What the device does, it uses a very strong magnet, causes supramaximal contraction. So it's contracting our muscles harder than we can when we're exercising. So it's like it's like hacking your fitness. It's hacking that muscle growth for the core. And it increases muscle mass, and it can create a definition in the abdominal area and oblique. And it is equivalent to doing about 20,000 sit-ups per session. So, this is an amazing device that you just lay on a table for 30 minutes, somewhere between 4 to 8 sessions once a week for 4 to 8 weeks. It really can make a big difference. For a back protocol, I would do the abdomens and the obliques, and then maybe do something for the glutes, or if we think it's a pelvic floor issue, there's a different device using similar technology called Emsella, been around since 2017, that helps build up that pelvic floor. So, with someone with back pain, we really want to build up all those different muscles. So just kind of putting it all together, lifestyle habits matter, less sitting, more standing. You want to do some core exercises, on an almost daily basis where you're working in some of those stretches, some of those exercises. Another good stretch for stretches, I like a reach through where you're down on your hands and knees and reaching through, twisting your back. It helps good stretch more of that upper back. I like doing hip flexor stretches, like modified sprinter stretches. There's a stretch called World's Greatest Stretch. I think that's a good stretch to help work those areas as well. Then if you really want to do some advanced hacking type exercises, that would be the Emsculpt Neo, maybe the Emsella as well. I really think just putting a good back program helps. I've had multiple patients when they're doing these different modalities, really helps take away their back pain. I've had patients have their back pain go away after 1 to 2 sessions because it was that core strength. The lack of core strength was really leading to their back pain. So I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments, and please subscribe to my channel, and hope everyone has a great day.